This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk with Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young on ESPN Radio 94.1.
Oh, yeah. Good Saturday morning to you on this 5th day of September, the year 2020, and welcome to 757 Saturday Sports Talk here on ESPN Radio 94.1. It is gorgeous weather outside. Go out there and enjoy the weather and the environment out there. Of course, continue to practice your social distancing and do all the smart things, but it should be a fun Labor Day weekend. It's Kentucky Derby Day. I am Matt Hatfield, joined as always by the coach, Ed Young. Good morning, Coach. And we've got... we may call this Franza and Friends. Dino Franz on the other side of the glass. First time we've seen Dino, I think, in these parts of the building, these studios, since he sang Go Cubs Go with us about, 4 years ago on a Saturday morning?
Yes, and I'd like to sing it again this year, hopefully.
He might get a chance. We might have to make that deal with him.
I think the last time, good morning to everybody.
By the way, you can take the mask down when you're talking. I mean, you're okay today.
I don't want to take it down because I don't know where this mic's been.
No, we take care of things. We
But the last time Dino was here, I think Harry Carey was here.
Whoa, it hasn't been that long.
That was a long time ago.
I'm telling you, it's what it seems like. I mean, to get Dino, how can you afford him on your budget?
Well, we pulled some strings on Labor Day, and we made it happen, so.
I don't know. I think this is an act of kindness for Dino.
It might be. I'm sure there will be some kind of compensation in the future. Maybe liquid, maybe another Virginia Preps Classic shirt, which he's wearing very nicely today, I might add. So.
Yes. I figured it would fit the occasion.
Listen, we're hoping we get one in January come basketball season, but everything with high school sports. I mean, you said it this morning when we were coming in, Ed. Man, this is perfect high school football weather in general, whether you're talking college, pro, or high school. And it looks like the high school football, we'll have some more news, hopefully in the next couple of weeks. The VHSL delayed its decision as far as the schedules go, although I'm seeing some schools out in Southwest Virginia, Ed, they've put out, like some of these schools like Rye Cove and Eastside and George Wythe, their games, their 6-game schedule for February through the beginning of April. And I think it might be George Wythe of Wytheville's got like all their games on Saturdays at 1 o'clock, which will be strange for folks out there to see that if we have college basketball going. You want to watch a March Madness NCAA tournament game or watch a high school football game on a 1 o'clock Saturday afternoon? It could be very weird.
What a change. Some districts or schools have been given the okay to start preseason workouts. That's not across the board to everybody. That is an individual school district decision. A lot of people are confused. Like right now in Suffolk, we are not allowed to do preseason work with our kids. Chesapeake, who's in the Southeastern District with Suffolk, is allowed to. So people got to understand that's an individual school district's decision as to what you can do, when you can do it, how long you can do it, and what you do with your kids.
Before we tackle some of the topics this morning and open up the phone lines, you can actually give us a call anytime you like at 757-687-9494. That's our telephone number, area code 757-687-9494. And find us on Twitter. 757 Sports Talk is the Twitter feed, 757 Sports Talk. We just put up a brand spanking new question of the day and a poll for you and all kinds of goodies and links and things throughout the week here. And also follow the station's Twitter feed at ESPN Radio 941. Let's tell you about the lineup for today's show. We'll actually work from backwards to the start. At about 11:25, 11:30 this morning, we'll be talking to a guy that knows Ed Young pretty well. He was his junior varsity basketball coach for the last 4 years and was an assistant there at the River, Nansemond River in Suffolk for about 8 years or so, and he's now the new head man at Deep Creek High School. Craig Frost will join us here. I know you're very delighted and excited for him.
My comment to this week has been to people, it's been bittersweet. I mean, it's a guy been with me nearly 10 years, right-hand man, a lot of strategy, planning, long meetings in the office after close games and practices and scouting assignments. And, I hate to lose him. But on the other hand, as a head coach, I like to see when my assistants get the opportunity to run their own program. And I've been blessed. I've had a good handful of former assistants and players get coaching jobs, especially head coaching jobs, a couple even at the college level.
Yeah, you got a coaching tree now with Ivan Thomas, who played for you at Norview, who's at Providence, and Jonathan Wilson, who played for you at Norview. He's coaching the girls at Norview. You coached the boys to a state championship game appearance. You got Paul Hall, who coached with you for many years there at Nansemond River, doing a great job with his program at Western Branch. You're like the high school version of what you call Bill Belichick with this little coaching tree you're
Willie Young, here. Former player in Norview, coaching high school
ball. Where's he, in Tennessee now?
Yep, and he used to coach pro ball over in Germany. He's doing a great job at resurrected a bad program.
And listen, unlike the coaching tree for you compared to Belichick, the limbs aren't falling off like they did with him. Those guys all fell apart. Your guys have done fairly well for themselves.
I would say I would
My little
say
dig at Belichick this morning. There
all of those guys have done well. The guys that have left me have done better than me, I think, lately. I might have to try to join one of their staffs as assistant. But that part is great because I love seeing a guy be able to move on and run his own program and, of course, successful. I don't like playing against my former guys because I'm trying to beat people. And I'm looking across, and that's a friend of mine. And, you know, you have to kind of get in that attack mode. Ain't no thing about friends doing a game. And by the way, my JV job is open, PSA.
Yeah.
I'm taking resumes. So, Dino, if you want to get back into coaching, you know, I'm not taking Hatfield because he already coaches my team from the stands, so I don't need him next to my seat.
Well, I'm going to hold out for that long-term contract.
You'll be holding for a long time then.
You know, I'm getting on, to the point in my life now where I got to have that financial security before I decide to wrap it up.
Well,
that's me.
True for a lot of people. All right, so Craig Frost, 11:25, 11:30 this morning. He'll join us around then. 11:05, a guy that actually I think started out here in Hampton Roads. At least he was here for a while. I'm reading his bio. He was working at the Suffolk News Herald, which I've done some writing for. I want to say at the age of 14 or something. Chuck Culpepper, who now covers horse racing, golf, tennis, college basketball, and football, and everything in between for the Washington Post. And I believe he's at the Derby today. So we'll dive into that and maybe some college football with him at 11:05 this morning. And then our first guest at about 10:45 this morning, we'll talk with Isaiah Henderson, young man out of Salem High School in Virginia Beach, who was an all-region performer for the Salem Sun Devils last year, and he made his college commitment, and it's more than just a college commitment, to the Air Force Academy. So we'll dive into that with him a little bit later on. But we'll start, of course, this morning with the news regarding William and Mary. We also lost a great coaching figure in our area with Maze Toomer this week from Surry High School girls basketball coach. If you want to read a full story we put up last night, you can do so on virginiapreps.com. Let's go to the phones at 757-687-9494. And our first caller is Jonathan from Surry. Good morning, Jonathan. How you doing?
Hey, I'm good. How you guys doing, Matt? Coach Young?
Doing all right.
Doing fine, Jonathan.
Yeah, but just wanted to just talk about, you just mentioned it, Coach Toomer passing away.
Yes.
He was a instrumental part of the girls program here at Surry County. You know, down here in Surry County, you know, we're a small community, so community is big for us. So when we lose, you know, someone who is instrumental as he was, you know, it affects us, you know, us all. And like I said, the community is all shaken up, and, you know, we're surprised for one because, you know, no one saw it coming, you know, and so just want to just send out our well wishes, our prayers to the family, to all of his friends. I know also in the Newport News, Hampton area, he was well known, you know, back at the apprenticeship. And so I just wanted to just to honor him today, just to let him know, all his family and friends know that, you know, he will be missed. And like I said, he brought 2 state championships to Surry County, and, you know, that will never be forgotten. So just thank you for taking my call, and rest in peace, Coach Toomer.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jonathan. We echo those sentiments by you, and thank you for calling in to pass along some kind words there on the passing of the great Maze Toomer, who had, again, top 5 in scoring and rebounding at the apprentice school there. Was going to go into the Hall of Fame this October. I'm not sure where the ceremony, where it stands now as far as everything with COVID and all, but he got named to the Hall of Fame for them. I think it's just their second class this past April. As I mentioned, we got a full story. We don't even know at this moment, and someone may know out there, but the exact cause of death. I had heard he was going in for some kind of minor procedure, but not anything that was, you would figure, life-threatening from what I was told about it. But, you know, I'm not sure if the family wants that out there in regards to what exactly that surgery entailed. Nonetheless, we spoke with Coach James Pope. We'll probably try to get on the show in the next couple of weeks. He's the boys basketball coach at Surry High School, won a state championship back in 2019, and also the athletic director of the school. And just everybody's shocked about it. I saw it come out on social media a couple days ago, and he also coached at Kickingham High School in between his 2 championship stints at Surry this year, winning a share of the Class 1 crown, and back in 2010. And as you always say, you know, you lose these pillars in the coaching community. It really is tough for everybody to move forward and digest it all.
Yeah, you know, I guess the worth of a person when they pass is the legacy and feeling they left behind. And I only spoke to Coach Toomer a few times in my coaching career. Didn't really know the man that much. But seeing the outpouring for him gone is unbelievable. You're talking about, yes, a pillar. This guy has affected a lot of lives, not just the kids that played for him, but people around him, people that played with him, coaches that were with him. He gone too soon. You know, one of the statements we always say, gone too soon, and nobody saw it coming. That's what makes it a lot tougher. Not that death is any easier, but I guess when you can prepare for it, it kind of helps the mindset a little bit. But we lost a very, very good one, and my condolences to family and all those around him.
Absolutely. And again, phone lines are open at 757-687-9494 if you want to dial us up this morning, talk anything in the world of sports, whether it be local, pro, college, high school, you name it. Area code 757-687-9494 here on ESPN Radio 94.1. And the other bit of news, Ed, this week, and we've seen it all across the sports landscape with Iowa cutting athletic programs. Stanford eliminated 11 over the summer, and that had really everybody's hair raised on their skin and just, turned everybody's attention. My goodness, Stanford with the, academic institution that is, and the money they have there. 11 varsity sports being eliminated back in June. Old Dominion got rid of wrestling in April. Hampton University, they got rid of men's and women's golf in June. And another school right here in the Hampton Roads area, not immune to this, William & Mary getting rid of 7 of its 23 varsity sports, and it will take place at the conclusion of this upcoming 2020-2021 academic athletic calendar year, whatever you want to deem it as. And those sports include gymnastics for both men and women, swimming for both men and women, and they've been very successful in sports such as swimming and women's volleyball among those sports. Also, outdoor track and field for men's indoor and outdoor track and field, part of that. So these cuts, they're final. It's going to affect more than 100 athletes and 13 coaches across these 7 sports. Now, William & Mary is going to honor all scholarship commitments to athletes in those sports through graduation. And as I mentioned, it's going to take place at the end of the upcoming academic athletic calendar year 2020-2021. Also, and this, I think it's a little bit of semantics here, Samantha Hugh, the athletic director, football coach Mike London, men's basketball coach Dane Fisher, and women's basketball coach Ed Swanson among the several people in the department taking voluntary pay cuts. And it's just a really tough time for college athletics all across the country as we've been battling this COVID since March. And I'm not sure things are going to get a whole lot better for some other sports that are pretty much, you'd say, on the chopping block potentially. But what was your reaction to this news that came out a few days ago? I think I mentioned somewhere, a tragedy. It's a lot of athletes, kids that put heart and soul in it, coaches, fan base. And I hate seeing it anywhere. I don't want to see programs cut. I want to see programs added. I understand the money thing. I understand it, but I don't understand it. It's a money situation. I just like to think you can cut elsewhere. Hats off to those coaches for taking voluntary pay cuts. In this time and age, that's very rare, very, very rare. And those guys are not making no $4 or $5 million contracts like some of the big boys in the coaching world are making. So that's hats off to those and tremendous. But I just wish there's other ways we can find to save money. It's extremely important for them youngsters to play. They're at William & Mary, yes. Supposedly everybody's at a college to get your education. I get that. William & Mary, that's a definite. You're definitely there for that education because that's tough. But you have the opportunity to continue playing your craft after high school, and the possibility can shoot you into a pro level. Nothing wrong with that. Now, I guess, a lot of those kids will have to transfer out of there if they want to continue playing. Well, unlike some other programs, and whether you want to pinpoint that at, Stanford, Iowa, ODU, Hampton, wherever it might be, and it's sometimes out of these administrators' control here with what's going on financially and the state of the virus here, this global pandemic we're in. The one thing that was, I wouldn't even say it's a positive or silver lining, but it lessens the sting, if you will, was that they at least have through this year. So they have a little bit of time now to find somewhere in terms of the athletes and the coaches. And, they're going to honor those scholarships. The coaching employment agreements will be fulfilled. So it's not like you're getting the total bombshell, even though this did come across through a Zoom meeting. And that's the other tough part about this. You like to have some of this news delivered to you, and people are getting laid off all over the country, whether we're talking about in sports or outside of the sports world. It's sad and tragic to see, but you like to sometimes have some of that news delivered to you in person as opposed to over a video call, which, I know you're dealing with video calls through schooling right now, and it's not the most kind or easiest things to deal with right now.
I don't even want to go over what I went through this past week in terms of coming back as a teacher. I just don't want to go over what we got to do this year. It's unbelievable. But
we don't have enough time in the show.
We definitely don't have enough time. I feel worse than a first-year teacher. Let me put it that way. But, and the other good thing is these athletes will be immediately eligible, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe that's correct, yeah.
They don't have to sit out because it's not their fault. But, I just keep thinking a place like Stanford, their endowment isn't strong enough, big enough, heavy enough to keep some of those sports going. And again, I'm ignorant to the process, so maybe that isn't. But I just think you need to find ways. Normally they'll cut programs to add programs. So, Title IX, They got to be on par with all that. But this is just a situation where I guess they can blame it on the COVID that, money's just not coming quite in for athletics as it used to. So to uphold all the programs, they're going to have to ditch some programs. And that's going to be sad if every school's got to do that.
We're going to take a timeout. When we come back, it's time for some over-unders. We did the AFC last week. It's going to be yours truly, Hatfield, Young, and friends are giving you our NFC over-unders. How will Dino's Bears do? How will my Cardinals do? And others. We'll go through those with you when we come back right here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk on the coach's favorite radio station. What is it?
ESPN Radio 94.1.